back to the Superhero Homies podcast. My name is Quentin, and as always, I'm here with the homie Kevin.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how you guys all doing out there? To those of you listening, thank you for tuning in. To those of you watching, thank you for also tuning in and looking at us. I don't know why you'd want to watch. Maybe it's just on in the background, but we'll see. Yeah.
I mean, some people are kinky like that. They like to watch.
That's right, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, homies. Welcome back, though. Hopefully, you guys have been doing well, and maybe presuming life back to normal, or a semblance of it, maybe, or maybe you're just coping. Either way, we're here to help you get through.
Or you're listening to this well after, as a matter of fact. And we're going to help you reminisce. Remember that time we all had to go self-quarantine and, isolate and shit? But hey, that's to a hopeful future. Hopefully not that far away from now, but we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, one day these will all just be days from futures past.
Get out. Get out. I'm trying not to curse as much on this show, Dadgummit Quentin. You almost made me break that right now.
Almost forgot.
You know what? Go to bed. No.
And I get the applause from the audience. This is great. Thank you. Calm your applause, please. Thank you.
Get the fuck out. I'm going to press sad trombone on you.
But yeah, homie. So what we're here to do today is to wrap up our Injustice Omnibus coverage. So for those of you who maybe don't know, just tuning in, for a few of our previous episodes, we've been covering the Injustice Omnibus, which covers years 1 through 3. The Injustice Omnibus is a story, of course. It's an Elseworld story, more or less, in which Superman turns evil. He gets corrupted. And here today, we're here to talk about the very last year in this Omni, which is year 3. Mm-hmm. Kevin, man, what you think of this year?
So, dude, going back and reading over this and definitely kind of like touching up on years 1 and 2 just to make sure I remember the order of events correctly and everything, it makes me sad that this is technically a DC Elseworld event because I really like the story. It's been great. Year 3 is not my favorite year, but that is, nevertheless saying something very powerful considering this book is still great. Like, this book is still very much worth it. It's an awesome DC read. Doesn't matter if you've played or not played the game. You don't even need to know about the existence of the game, really, in order to enjoy this book. And now that we've completed it, it kind of makes me sad. Makes me wonder when you're going to buy years 4 and 5 for both of us.
Hell yeah.
And, when are you going to do it?
So I do want to go ahead and say this real quick also,
What's
just
up?
so you homies can maybe lament with me, because that is a really good point you bring up. And I have a confession to make, guys, and that is I'm always ordering new books.
That's not a confession. That's a celebratory. That's celebratory, dude. In fact, where's the new book you just ordered? Do we want to show that off real quick to those who are watching?
Yeah, there's actually 2.
There's a couple here. I'll hold up the one. Here, let me hold up the good one. Here. You know which one I want to hold up. Yeah.
They're both good ones.
They're both good ones, but I got to hold up this one here. Oh, yeah. Look at that. If only we had Zoom on the camera and we had we could afford a cameraman. Look at that. The Wolverine Omni. Daggum. Awesome. Yes. And what's the other one over there?
This is the Infinity Omni by Jim Starlin and Jonathan Hickman.
Fuck yeah. There you go.
Hey, yeah.
And that's not even the one I was thinking about, because I was thinking about the most recent one you ordered from Dark Horse? No, that's not Dark Horse. Who is that?
Yes.
Who published this?
Vertigo.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
League of Extraordinary Gentlemen Omnibus. I also got this recently as well. Excellent read, and of course,
Sean Connery is not in there.
Got the Alan Moore goodness.
I'm gonna slide this back in.
But yeah, so that the Wolverine Omnibus was definitely a gem for me, because I missed the boat for the first printing that came out. I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 years ago. I never got my hands on it back then, and then it became a well in the sense of if you were to find one, it was either used and it's going to be extremely pricey.
Yeah.
So I had to wait, and then I had to pre-order the when the new one became available. I was telling you just the other day, there's 6 books in total this year that I have to have. There's a bunch that I really, really want, but there's 6 that I gotta have, and the Wolverine reprint Omni was definitely one of them.
Okay. So real quick, before we dig into year 3, what are the other 5? Just out of curiosity.
Oh yeah. So I'll say the one I'm looking forward to right now the most for last.
Okay.
But so there is the Rick Remender X-Force Omni, which that came out right as the COVID-19 really hit. So that one's a little bit more difficult to get.
Dude, fucking COVID-19's messing so many things up.
Yeah, and that's where I was going. It's like it's so hard to get books now because even the ones that I pre-order, things are taking so much longer to get to me now.
Yeah.
So it's just a waiting game. Matter of fact, there's one I pre-ordered a month ago. I'm still waiting for now.
That's sad, man.
Yeah.
You know, real quick intermission here. It was the same way with your Final Fantasy VII copy, actually.
Oh yeah.
I gifted that to him. What was it, for your birthday?
I think it was for Christmas. It was my Christmas present.
I gifted a pre-order of it to him for Christmas, and because of COVID-19, he didn't get it too much later. However, luckily, we both have played it well enough in time in order to do our Patreon episode coming up soon.
Great fucking gift, by the way, my brother. Thank you again for that. But the other ones I was looking for was, of course, the Wolverine Omni, which I now have my hands on.
Awesome.
The X-Force Omnibus by Rick Remender.
Okay.
There is the Justice League of America Omnibus by Grant Morrison.
Okay.
Really looking forward to that one. There is the Batman Superman Team Up Omnibus.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
Okay.
Looking forward to that. I think both of those should come out around June, July. They may be pushed back.
Is that going to be reminiscent of World's Finest? I wonder. But that's me thinking out loud. Yeah. But anyways, yeah.
There was the X-Men reprint omnibus by Joss Whedon. Sad story about my current copy. It got ruined when my old bookshelf collapsed.
Yeah.
So I had to get a new copy of that one. That one actually I should be looking for now. And then the one that I'm currently looking forward to the most on my I have to have it this year is pretty ironic. I pre-ordered this one as soon as it became available for pre-order. Paid out the ass for it because of COVID. Things are fucked up now. We have an episode coming up actually in a few weeks about the comic industry and how it's even affecting people like me now. But
it's about more than that, luckily, so we're good.
Yeah. But the last Omni that I absolutely need to have is the Hellblazer Omnibus. And I am absolutely looking forward to that. Yes.
Not bad. Not
bad. Yeah. Hellblazer, for those of you who don't know, is that's the Constantine run from back in the day. They started a new run maybe a few years back, but the run I'm getting is it's right after Alan Moore put the pencil down and gifted it to Garth Ennis, and this is going to be his run on it. So really looking forward to that.
So, to those of you who are watching, actually, the answer to the question is yes, we will need another bookshelf. Because the one here is not going to cut it. Yeah.
And that's also full.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Also, quick announcement before we get into year 3. We're actually working on a redesign for our little homemade set here. So, things are going to be moving around. You'll see probably a few new little props and gadgets and good things like that all in the center of the shot here. But yeah, so expect some changes coming up over the next few weeks. It's gonna be a while. It's gonna be a slow process. Yep. But yeah.
But yeah, so here we are in Justice Year 3. For those of you who have been following us so far, you know that we've really been enjoying this entire run so far.
We've come a long ways. Oh yes.
Yeah, we have.
And the war's still going on.
It is.
That reminds me. Where is it? Where's the death tally paper? I'm trying to remember where I put it.
Yeah.
There it is right there. I put my drink on it. Yeah.
Thought you threw it away. It's like, oh man, we're going to need that.
Nah, I got it. Yeah. Oh yeah, right there. But yeah, brother. Let's go ahead and let's do this thing.
Yes. So year 3, it starts off with Constantine. And he's kind of giving us a monologue here. Really quick, one cool thing about this year is that I feel like this year more than others came from the solo perspective of another hero that wasn't Batman. So even though Batman wasn't in year 2 a lot, there were a lot of heroes filling in that caveat. Whereas in this year, it's almost like Batman kind of shares that spotlight with Constantine. And that was kind of a cool dynamic.
It was, yeah. It made the story writing a little bit different. The theme of this year definitely is magic and, multiverse theory and things like that, you know?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, definitely some fun having there. But magic definitely kind of takes the forefront theme for this year.
Yes.
Which is really dope, because the second year was, the green theme, which eventually turned to the yellow theme.
Yeah, the intergalactic war to the war on magic.
Indeed.
Yeah. But it starts off with Constantine. He's looking at like this house, this building that had been destroyed, and there's a dead Green Lantern Corps member on the house, and he's like, well, everything was fine until this guy showed up, and he's basically talking about this little girl. Her name is Rose, and he's saying that how Rose's parents were killed when the Green Lantern fell on her house, and he goes on to say something along the lines of, I did everything in my power to protect this house, all types of magic and spells, but I never in my life thought I had to prepare for a green clad alien falling from the sky, hitting the house, killing the parents. And the reason why this little girl is so important to him is that
I'm not sure if that's Murphy's Law or not.
Yeah, I don't know what
it makes you wonder. Yeah.
But this little girl Rose, he says that her mother's last name was Porter, but that's not her real name. Her real name is much more cursed. Mm-hmm. It is Rose Constantine. So for those of you who have maybe been reading along and wondering about this, I've never, and don't get me wrong, there's a lot of shit that I never knew before, but I never heard even of Rose Constantine, and so she really had me curious, and so I went down the deep dive just trying to see what I could find on her, and no, Rose was created essentially by Tom Taylor for the Injustice run. Okay. So as far as the main continuity goes, I don't think that she technically exists in that, but in terms of for the sake of this book, here she is.
Yeah, I mean that's interesting actually that they created a character which became one of the most powerful motivators of year 3.
Yes.
She really is an integral keystone for this whole story to begin to make sense. So you kind of need her thinking about the grand scape of the story and what all happened in year 3. Without her, a lot of things would not have come to pass.
Oh, yeah.
So, good job, Tom. Good job.
Yeah.
Well made. Yeah.
And so he basically consoles his little girl, and he takes her to the Tower of Fate. And obviously, Dr. Fate and Zatanna are both there. And it's there where he speaks with, he actually leaves and speaks with Detective Chimp. He leaves Rose at the Tower of Fate. And at this point in time, we really don't know a whole lot about the conversation had with him and Detective Chimp.
Now, real quick, I have to stop you.
Yes.
You knew this was going to happen. Just like you probably know a few questions that are going to come up here later. What other stories have had the world's greatest detective, Dr. Chimp?
Yes. I have a few Batman runs that feature him heavily because he is a damn good detective.
Okay.
He is featured heavily in the Infinite Crisis omnibus.
Okay.
I'm probably going to reference that a few times today because there's a section in that deals with the magic users specifically.
Okay.
And so a lot of them are brought back or they're used again here in Injustice.
Okay.
But cool. He's also in Dark Knight Metals as well. But yes, he's been in several kind of crossover events and tie-ins. He's a really endearing character.
Yeah. Little Dr. Chimp, he's a chimpanzee dressed like Sherlock Holmes.
Yes, Detective Chimp. Yeah,
Detective Chimp.
Yeah, he got his powers from drinking from, or his human-esque abilities, I guess you can say, from drinking from. I think it was like some kind of spring of everlasting life.
Like Mojo Jojo. I'm joking.
He was created by the professor. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pulling your chain. You're good.
But yeah, so that's where Detective Chimp gets his kind of cognitive function from. Really smart detective, really cool character. I like him a lot. But shortly after this is when Constantine goes and he speaks with Trigon, and we learn some interesting information here, guys. Constantine is playing all sides here, but from the beginning here with Trigon, he's saying to Trigon that, so I know that you own a piece of my soul. That's unfortunate for me. But I have information on your daughter's whereabouts, referring to Raven, of course. And Trigon's like, I'm not going to free your soul. I'm going to enjoy torturing you forever, but find my fucking daughter. And so, Trigon doesn't have any. He doesn't know where his daughter is, obviously, or that Constantine knows more than he's letting out. But
right. So about Constantine, real quick, you mentioned playing both sides. The first thing I've learned about Constantine is that he cheated these dark mystical forces to basically have his own homemade immortality. I don't know if that's in the canonical run or not. I would like to imagine it is, that he had one of them help cure him of a cancer, I think he had, and another one basically to lock in eternal youth or something like that. I can't remember, but
it depends on which run you read.
Of course, it always does. That's
yeah. But no, he has definitely cheated a lot of demons, and he's gotten a lot of things. I mean, he is a con man, and that's something that you have to remember about John Constantine is that, yes, he is a warlock, he is a mage, he is a magic user of all types, but he's also he's a con man. He knows how to con people, whether they be of this realm or others.
Of course. All right. Cool.
Hell yeah.
Dad Constantine. Charismatic bastard.
That he is, man. He went all in on charisma for his character sheet. Charisma and magic.
Charisma is 25. Intelligence and wisdom are just kind of like a little above average, but that's about it.
I figured those would be pretty high since you need those to cast magic.
14 each. 14.
Okay. Shout out to the D&D nerds out there. But the next thing we get here is he says he has info on Raven's location. He's going to help Trigon find them because he wants Trigon to hopefully free up his soul so he doesn't, suffer for eternity. The next thing we get here is we get Batman, Detective Chimp, and Constantine. These three are teaming up, and they go to Raven's whereabouts.
Yep.
And he says he takes them all there in case anything happens to him. He wants them to know where Raven is, so he doesn't want Raven to, be stuck there forever. So that was.
I mean, that would be a dick move.
It would be. I think ultimately, nobody in this team hates Raven. They just want her off the board. Understandable.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, so now they all know Raven's locations, and honestly, the end of this chapter just ends with Constantine bound to kick Superman in the bullocks.
Yep.
And that's kind of a recurring thing. It's pretty good.
Bullocks is such a great word. We don't use it enough. Yeah.
We don't.
We really don't. That's one thing that, British English has done correctly. They kept the word bullocks common. So thank you guys. Yes. I want to kick someone in the bullocks tonight. Yeah, see, that's just fun to say.
It's true. But, oddly enough, it's like balls. Like, that's just, it's so fun to say. Like,
both of them.
Like, kick you in the nutsack. Like, there's so many fun ways to.
I thought you were about to go to the South Parkian way, which is, I'm going to kick you in the nuts. You know, that reminds me very hardcore of like a.
You gotta say that. You gotta say that like Cartman.
That's true. I'm gonna kick you. Oh wow, my Cartman voice isn't great. I'm not good at that. I'm gonna kick you in the nuts. There you go. Drag out the U.
You are right.
Yeah.
Oh man, let's move on here really quick.
We're mature.
We're ready. We're good.
Good thing about chapter 1: no deaths yet.
Yeah, that's true. Oh well, I was gonna say, did we count the dead Green Lantern that landed?
No. That's year 2.
Okay, that's it.
We already counted. Yellow and Green Lanterns.
Yep.
There you go.
Okay. Oh, yeah, we did. That's right. All right. So, chapter 2 is gathering forces, and here Team Bat has assembled in Jason Blood's home to come up with a game plan. And it's here where Harvey Bullock, not Bullocks like
I thought about that. Yeah.
But
Detective Bullock.
Yeah, Detective Harvey Bullock. He feels like he's in over his head here. Not only is like his best friend dead, that being Jim Gordon, but now he's dealing with magic and demons and all these.
Well, Detective Chimp started talking, and he's looking down like, nope. I'm not having this.
I'm out of here.
Which is true to character, you know.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, he's a no nonsense. Always has his fedora on detective. Mm-hmm. Very, very cliche, very picturesque in the old school, image of what you think a detective should look like. And he looks at this talking chimp,
Yeah.
It's a beautiful contradiction. Yeah. Yeah.
This highly intelligent chimp.
Yep.
And he's like, yeah, I'm out of here. And he goes to open the door, and Jason Blood, who is the human embodiment of Etrigan, by the way, the rhyming demon.
That was two people in one.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
gotcha.
The YouTubers got it. Yeah.
And what happens is that Jason Blood sees what's going on, and he tries to stop it, but at this point it's too late. The door is open, and the seal protecting them and keeping them hidden has been broken. Quite unfortunate.
Harvey, what are you doing? The AC! It's getting out! No! Yeah, but no, Jason Blood. Poor dude.
Yeah. So we're going to get ready to put a tally down, because at this point, Jason Blood, he tries to get the rhyme out to transform into the demon Etrigan, but before he can finish it, he is eviscerated. He's killed.
Yep.
So Jason Blood is the first death on the tally, and it's like, holy shit, we're starting off with the death of Jason Blood, and because it was so weird, because I was like, technically, isn't he immortal? And then they quickly explain, well, Etrigan's immortal. If he can find a way to kill one without the other, then there you go.
Yeah.
I was like,
and technically that did displace Etrigan back to
hell.
Yeah. Who continued rhyming.
Yeah.
And so that's one chess piece off the board.
Yep. Also, we find out that Harvey is killed in this as well.
Oh, excuse me. Let me fix that. So we're up to 2. Okay, that was quick. What are we, like 10 pages in?
Right. And we find out that it is the Spectre that has killed them.
Ooh.
Yes. And Detective Chimp is in critical condition right now. And I don't know if we're going to go ahead and put this down or not, but he technically never really recovers, and even when he does, it's by magic, and he's never able to leave that certain realm, and he realizes that is the end of his fate. So technically, Detective Chimp dies.
We'll tally it when it happens. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We're gonna hold on to hope. No spoilers, by the way. Oh, legitimately speaking, spoilers. If you haven't read the story,
plenty, all of the spoilers.
I mean, yeah. If you don't notice, Q and I tend to enjoy doing like a loose synopsis. You know, yeah. So to those of you that listen in, you get that. To those of you new, here you are.
There you go.
All right, bud.
Constantine taunts Batman and calls him utterly useless, in which Batman punches the shit out of Constantine. And then
if you want a second theme, that would be it.
Right.
Constantine teasing and Batman reacting. Yep.
And Batman grabs his nuts, walks outside, and puts his nuts on the table, and as he looks Spectre in the face, and has a conversation with the spirit of fucking vengeance.
He meant figuratively, by the way, in case a lot of you were confused out there. I just had this imagery of like Batman grabbing someone's nuts, like, come here.
Of Batman grabbing somebody else's nuts and putting them
on
the
way you were saying it was like painted this image, and I was just kind of like, why would Batman do that? Well, Batman's Batman. He doesn't give a fuck, you know? He owns the room when he walks in.
That is very... For those of you who have never heard the expression, putting your nuts on the table.
No. We get it. I'm just clarifying, because I know one homie out there was just like, why would he do that? Poor Constantine.
Kevin, I hope that you think too lowly of our homies.
I would never.
But no, he looks the Spectre in the face, and he goes, let's have a conversation. Let's talk one man of vengeance to another. And I was like, look at the big balls on the bat. Like, that is insane. And Spectre, he reacts calmly at first, but then once he realizes that Batman is kind of almost judging him, saying, you killed Harvey Bullock, that was an innocent man, you shouldn't have done that. Spectre goes to grab Batman, Zatanna teleports him and the rest of the team back out of there. And so now she transports them from Jason Blood's home back to the Tower of Fate. And it's at the end of this chapter where John says, the reason that I taunted you so much is because I I was afraid that maybe you were still broken or damaged from what Superman did to you. But if we're gonna do this, I need the Batman.
Constantine is loosely a manipulative son of a bitch here. You know, I don't really know a kinder way to put that. He plays the field very well, but he does so in a bastard's way, to where he somehow plays even the smartest people in the room. In this case, namely Batman. And there's a lot of smart people in that room.
Oh, yeah.
Like you were joking about earlier, I'm going to make a serious point here. You do have to have a high level of intellect to be such a powerful magic user. And these are rooms filled with some of the most powerful magic users. So, fuck you, John Constantine. Yeah. I'm not doing well on my holding back from the cursing, but you guys get it.
You get points for, effort.
Yeah, fuck it.
All right, those points have been redacted.
No. Give me my points.
Oh. So really quick, like, when I first saw or read this chapter, which is called Gathering Forces, Chapter 2, I was like, Spectre, he's definitely one of those entities, man, where, like, he can be hard to gauge sometimes in terms of, like, what he's all about. And so, like, when I read it, like, having no spoiler information, like, given to me or learned, I was like, Spectre typically reacts this way when he doesn't have a host. So my first thought was, Jim Corrigan can't be in possession of the Spectre spirit, because that's what mellows Spectre out, and that's what gives him his humanity and stops him from doing, like, a bunch of crazy shit. When he has no embodiment, that's when he can easily go out the reservation. And so, like, I was definitely really intrigued about the whole Spectre aspect of this at this point in the story. So, cool. Moving on, chapter 3 is called The Coin, and basically with this chapter, we get Sinestro torturing a man for information.
Yeah, I noticed for this book, Sinestro is still one of the main characters, definitely, inarguably so. However, he does definitely take a back seat compared to his presence, which was in year 2, which was worthy, which was amendable. Mostly because, again, this was more the magical year. Sinestro, the yellow core, the green core, even magic's another playing field for them. That's they're really good soccer players. They don't know much about basketball. Wait, you got to use your hands? What? Although I suppose that metaphor should go vice versa, because the Green Lanterns need their hands for a lot. But, yeah.
Unless you're Mogo.
Unless you're Mogo, then the equator is your ring. All right. Anyways, yeah.
But no, you're right. Sinestro does kind of, take a back seat in this chapter.
So seeing him torture somebody up his, that's definitely in his wheelhouse. That's one of his top 10 favorite words.
But essentially, this man, in some capacity, he was working for Team Bat. Assumingly, he was a police officer, and Sinestro believes that this man could have information as to the whereabouts of Team Bats. This man is saying he finally does admit that yes, he was working for Batman in some capacity with that team, but he has no idea where they are.
None of them do.
Yeah, none of them do. Yeah. I mean, yeah, they wouldn't. Eventually, though, Superman is like, okay, I think that this is enough. And Sinestro, man, like, he's just able to play Superman like a fiddle, because he goes, whoa, Sup, like, we need to extract this information. Like, this is really important. Look, you have too much on your plate, Superman. You have the entire world on your shoulders, bringing the world peace. Let me handle this.
He manhandles him with kind words and charisma. Mm-hmm. Hey, I'm going to torture this man. You're going to let me torture this man because I'm good at it. You're bad at it. And you need to be a better leader by delegating. And essentially, Superman walks away. The man continues to be tortured.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's that. So
yeah, I mean, so I guess for anyone out there who's still holding out hope that maybe a small piece of Clark is in there.
So, but let me go ahead and put a cap on that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not waste time trying to hope on that, because if you haven't heard from before, there's 2 more years of this shit, which means we're only literally in the middle year. We're in the cream of the Oreo, okay, regarding this war. and the tyrant's Superman. So just keep it in your wheelhouse. There's no more hope. Superman is the bad guy. He doesn't know that because he won't allow himself to know that. And yeah, you might be able to say, wait, there's a matter of opinion sides. No, he's definitely being the tyrant right now, you know?
Yeah, that's just about like an interesting thought. Like,
What's
you
up?
saying like there's no more hope, and it's like the House of L symbol means hope. But like, I wonder if they ever play with that juxtaposition, because that's pretty interesting. But
There was something that was in the prologue, no, the epilogue, excuse me, of the book that kind of loosely taps it, but it only like barely knocked on the door with a finger. You know that it doesn't dig hard into that. I do know one thing though. He definitely does not deserve to wear that S of hope.
no,
Soap. Sounds like you're saying soap incorrectly. You know, soap. Where's the soap? I need to get clean. You know,
that's like the Hollywood industry way of shortening soap operas. I need my soaps.
Hey, did you see last night's soap, man? Yeah, Esmeralda, she was off the chain, dude.
God. Oh man. So chapter 3 is the coin, and Sinestro torches a man for information. And did you see like the image of him torching the guy? Mm-hmm. He had like all these like little spinal things, like bones or sticks coming from the ring that were infiltrating the man everywhere, like in his eyeballs, in his mouth. Like, jeez.
Dark acupuncture.
Yes. It's like, you're doing it wrong, Sinestro.
Yeah. See, Sinestro had a acupuncture specialist for an uncle. So, you know, he kind of put that into the torture bits. Yeah. In homage. Yeah. Homage.
It's at this point also where Spectre shows up to Team Superman, and he says that he believes in Superman's cause and purpose, and they have the Spectre on their side. Mm-hmm. Now, at this point, me as a reader, I'm thinking, God damn it. Like, every time Batman is, like, seemingly, as far as, like, power goes, getting on equal footing, something happens to throw that all off balance. Having the Spectre on your side, that tips the entire scale. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Superman, he's looking good right now. Also, something interesting that also happens here is when Spectre shows up, he tries to attack Billy, Shazam, because he says that Shazam doesn't believe in your cause. He doesn't believe in your purpose.
Right.
That was interesting.
I mean, that should have been a tell, because Billy, by nature, has to be a more righteous person to stay worthy of the Wizard Shazam's power, his gift. So, saying that one who has to prove a test of worthiness is not worthy should kind of make you question the judge, you know? Like, what's the criteria here, bud? What you getting at?
Right.
What playing field you on?
You know? It kind of made me think that maybe Superman is just as blind to Billy as Billy is to Superman.
Okay, so I know I'm anxious to go ahead and finish year 3 here and definitely talk about some other stuff, but let's sit and stew on that for a second. What do you mean by Billy is blind to Superman?
Blind to Superman in the sense that he, even when he's confronted, he always denies the wrongdoings of Superman. He falls back on no.
Okay, that's your definition. Okay. I wanted to make sure we clarified. Cool. And then Superman being blind to Billy.
Yeah. With that, Superman, if the spirit of vengeance tells you, hey, the intent of this guy's heart isn't in line with what you want, and you still turn a blind eye to that, he's still blind to Billy.
Gotcha. Okay, so playing with the word in two different essences. Yeah, I mean, I could see that. Yeah, I'm more curious as to what's going to happen with Shazam later on. Mm-hmm. You know, because we know that he's had the doubt. We saw that in previous years, in previous segments of the book. Super cool. Same thing with the Flash, technically, you know, but the Flash wasn't there for the Spectre to criticize. Yeah, right. Yeah. Flash is still kidnapped.
Oh yeah, spoiler alert. Flash, like not until towards the end, he doesn't get a lot to do here because he's, locked up with, and he's been tended to by Harley Quinn,
which is smart because he's powerful.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
Yeah. Take him off the field too.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, so Superman has Spectre on his team now. Mm-hmm. So at this point where we see that, what was that? Oh yeah, so Rose, she exhibits some type of magic. She does a trick that Constantine did earlier, where she reaches behind his ear and she pulls out a coin. And Dr. Fate later on goes to Constantine and says, "Hey man, that wasn't no parlor trick. Like, I don't know whether she pulled it from another realm or whether she just willed it into existence, but that was magic she showed."
Essentially, to clarify a little bit more, this little girl imitated a magic trick that John Constantine did with her earlier, but it's the notorious one. It's the one where it's like, oh hey, reach behind the ear, and all of a sudden, well, dexterity check, and you got a coin. All of a sudden, oh look, there's a quarter behind your ear. Well, she actually did it, the real magical version of it. And of course, John Constantine, being the defensive pseudo parent he is in denial, defensive even, saying, no, she didn't do that. No, she didn't fucking do that, Dr. Fate. Don't you dare say that little girl is magical, thus potentially, already being overly influenced by this dark, mystical world that John Constantine has put, all 10 fingers deep into.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then we see Batman and John. They go and visit Madame Xanadu. This was a really cool and an interesting segment here. Because... like, even before it happened, I was like, they're going to go see Madame Xanadu? I was like, oh, this is interesting. Typically, she hates John. And then, or turn the page, and...
she hates John.
She hates John.
Hey, they wrote that. In one bubble, John, I hate you. Oh!
I mean, literally, guys, like, it takes a while for them to get in there just because she wants nothing to do with John Constantine. He tells her about Etrigan's death, and she's like, yeah, asshole, I know. I'm Madame Xanadu. I know. Her whole stick, by the way, is that she uses basically like a type of tarot cards, and she's able to read prophecies, things that are going to happen. I think in the main continuity, she's blind, and she has someone else now who actually helps her to read the cards, but she's obviously a very powerful magic user.
Yeah, and John Constantine, the bastard, still knows how to charm and, bard his way through a situation. Another D&D joke in there for you. What can I say? But I am who I am. But, eventually she listens because, of course, who's with him to help kind of testify of integrity and morality here? None other than Batman himself. A constant symbol, as much as his bat signal is, of morality and keeping to the truth, which... he did. He flipped some tarot cards, and all of a sudden, wait, Jason Blood is dead? Yeah. Oh, well, fuck. Mm-hmm. It wasn't that calm, but you get what I'm saying. Yeah,
right. Yeah. So they also it's revealed like another series of prophecies, which I didn't write them down, but they were pretty interesting, and they pretty much explained the remainder of the major happenings in the book.
That's worthwhile. Give me a sec, yeah. I'm flipping some pages. I'm looking through some shit. Ooh-wee.
Should be at the end of chapter 3.
Yep. I'm looking at things. Oh, look, there's Jason Blood. He died. You like my song? Alright. Alright, they go in. Oh, hey, there it is right here. So, let me see. Is that the beginning, or is it starting here technically? Nope, it is not starting here. The green will grow. Tally number 1. I'm just going to keep going here. The green will grow. Hellfire will burn. A dead man will fall. And a dead man will rise. Souls will be lost and traitors triumphant. The Empress awakens. The Emperor sleeps. The advisor banished. The Joker returns. Now, the funny thing is that a lot of that, there's certain stanzas in that whole line that you can kind of piece together and think to yourself, oh, I know what that might mean for the story. Cool, go you. You're probably wrong. It does a good job of actually misconstruing, but also using this whole, I used the word stanza earlier, but it's not really a poem. This prediction, this fancy, what looks like a glorified fortune teller's reading, that's what she's dressed like, by the way. Not to insult her. This fictional character, but that's kind of the idea that they use here. It's really clever, actually. I gotta say, reading that, you kind of get the gist of the rest of the book, and with that fun little line, we have like a a loose narrative to kind of help walk us through what's going to happen. And for us to just kind of know, like, oh, well, I'm surprised, but I should have seen it coming. She said that was going to happen.
Yeah.
So word by word, it all comes true.
Yeah, it was really cool how they played that out. I enjoyed that segment.
Yeah.
So chapter 4 is Raven's Rescue.
Dun, dun, dun.
That should be in quotations, Mark.
Dun, dun,
but this chapter starts off pretty interesting. It looks like Helion is helping Raven escape. Helion, he's a character who's like, I would assume he's eternally young because I only ever seen him as a kid. But he.
Do you mean the guy that had the cat?
Yeah.
Was that? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, that's him.
I kind of took him like a son of Satan type thing, like little Nicky, you know? Yeah. Is that what he is, essentially? Because I don't know.
Yeah, he's from, I think he's just from another realm of reality, another dimension, essentially.
I mean, who isn't here? It's like the cheese wheel of everybody being from, I'm from C-137, you know, I'm from Universe Earth 2B.
I mean, Batman, Constantine, Man
Get out.
Do.
I made a good joke. All right. Don't get out. Stay.
Oh, thank you. Okay, I'll stick around.
Good. All right. Anyways.
But it looks like he's helping her escape, but in actuality what's happening is that he frees up the ritual just enough so that Raven's ethereal form can escape and go seek help. And once that happens, her consciousness is no longer in her body. This is when we see Constantine come into play, and those two began working on something nefarious. And
magical.
And magical, yes.
Yeah.
Magically nefarious.
Lucky Charms just popped in my mind. They're magically nefarious.
That's like, you remember those old cheesy ass terrible leprechaun movies? Like, that's his brand of cereal.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of leprechauns, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so she goes to Superman for help. Spectre, tries to kill her too because
reasons.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He is really not himself.
For a man that has no blood, he's bloodthirsty.
Yep. Superman does stop Spectre though from killing her, and she says, "I need help. I'm in Gotham." Superman pieces it together, and he goes directly to where he thinks she'd be. He's right. And it's at this point where he is actually attacked, and he's being captured by Ragman. Now Ragman is another character who I really kind of took a liking to. He ain't a lot of these magic characters in the Infinite Crisis on me.
I was about to say, Ragman was dope. He was a very creative being.
He is, yeah.
I know I didn't hear about him. No shame if a lot of you guys didn't, or did. Chances are a lot of you probably did. But, every rag on him represented a different soul that he has collected. He's like, I don't know. He looks like the hobo Grim Reaper.
He kind of does.
Yeah.
He's covered
without
in
the
rags.
sight. Yeah, he's covered in rags. They're all miscolored, dark, and raggedy looking rags.
Yeah.
And he can kind of like expand and utilize them at his will, but they're all souls.
Yes.
So the properties of them is, one, much more magical than a common dish rag, and two, not everybody can break free of souls.
No.
The soul bonded even,
Oh, yeah.
That was a multi-layered statement, yeah.
Superman, or not Superman, but Constantine says something also really telling when Superman is being bound. He goes, you know why you're having such a hard time with this, and that's because you're feeling all the weight of the guilt that you've done. Like, you are not an innocent man. You are very guilty. Otherwise this shit wouldn't work so well on you. And Ragman, he is like a really cool character, and I'm glad he got to have a little bit more shine here. It doesn't last for long.
No, actually, that reminds me. Where's my pen at? I don't need this for any reason. Here we go. Yeah.
Superman, he's able to free himself enough to call out for Shazam. Billy hears him, shows up. He grabs Ragman, hits him with lightning. Ragman's not dead, but he's down for the count.
Getting hit with lightning hurts.
It'll do that to a guy.
Do it.
Technically magical lightning at that.
Yeah.
And then Spectre shows up and is like, "Oh, this is the guy." And Spectre shows up and straight up murders Ragman. There's no two ways about it. So that's another one.
So we're up to 3.
Yeah. Ragman is dead. And you can tell that Billy really didn't like that. Like, Billy says you didn't have to kill him. Like, he was already done.
Yeah. I mean, the lightning already, zapped him away. Yeah. Pun intended. But he wasn't getting up. Like, he was already kind of like unconsciously hanging from Shazam's fist, So make of that what you will.
Yep. Yeah. But yeah, and that's actually where chapter 4 ends. Chapter 5 is called Dead Man. Ooh. Oh, yes. And then this one's pretty good because I was like, all right, we get Dead Man. Boston Brand. His name sounds more like a cereal than it does a superhero name. I always thought Boston Brand. Maybe it's the brand. I don't know.
Boston Brand, now available in the stores everywhere. Find it in your favorite breakfast style. Yeah. But it has to be like one of those old school, like late 80s, 90s commercials for cereal,
Yeah.
Where it's like there's a pseudo jingle for it.
Right.
They don't do that anymore. But yeah,
they don't do that.
And then it ends with a still shot image of a over dramatic breakfast that no one eats with like a grapefruit, a banana, a bowl of cereal, milk. There's a Pop-Tart for some reason.
Right, like, who was eating all of this?
Who's eating all this? There's a waffle. Like, wait, if there's a waffle, why do I want everything else?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There's a plate of eggs and bacon. Like, okay, now, dadgummit.
This is a buffet at this point.
Yeah?
Like, what are you advertising?
A breakfast-only buffet. Yeah.
Anyways, Dead Man. Boston Brand. That's how we got on that, yes. His name is Boston Brand, but... Dead Man, he is not on the scene, and Dead Man, he's what he sounds like. He's a dead man. He's a ghost.
Yeah,
and he has the power to possess people or assume them, and he's basically trying to work off his judgment.
Yeah,
he's a pretty cool guy too. By the way, definitely talk more about this when we're doing this comic news episode. But the Justice League Dark TV show coming to HBO Max. That's going to be really cool.
Yeah. That's right. So you made a post about that on Facebook.
Yeah. So definitely looking forward to that. But Dead Man, he pulls up and he possesses Shazam. And as he does so, he releases Constantine. Because Shazam was the one who was carrying Constantine back to the base of operations at the Watchtower. Mm-hmm. So Constantine is freed, and Zatanna takes him back to the Tower of Fate. But Dead Man says he wants to have a conversation with Spectre because he's also realizing something isn't right. It's kind of funny when he's in Shazam. He's like, "Oh, wait a minute, there's another person in here."
Right? Yeah, and Billy's just kind of sitting there, in some type of form in the mind, whatever. I don't need you in here, man. You gotta go.
No, just be a second. Like, it's cool. Like,
it's cool. Just let me finish what I'm doing. Yeah. But of course, Spectre wasn't having any of that.
Yeah, no. Spectre, he removes Dead Man from Shazam, and Dead Man goes, "Who are you?" Because he's the first one who really drops the line that, okay, this isn't Jim Corrigan.
Yeah,
it can't be. So he says, "Who are you? Like, what's happened to you?" And at this point, Spectre kills Dead Man, or he
maims him.
He immortally wounds him.
That made sense. Yeah.
And
oh no, my mortality!
and Dead Man flies away at this point because he's been wounded to the point of no return, essentially. You'll see, and so the next thing we get here is we see John. He's back at the base now, and he and Batman have one of their many spats because Batman's like, you had
that
this
was messed up.
Yeah, you had this harebrained scheme.
Yeah,
like the hell.
And you let Ragman die.
He
Roy Regan was his name.
Yes.
And he's calling out, "Yo, hey, John, help me out, man. Help me out. They're gonna get me, man." And Constantine is, back turned, walking away from the situation like, you dick.
Yeah.
You jerk.
I mean, that is
don't get on my team. Yeah.
But yeah, so we see Batman and John. They go and visit Swamp Thing.
Mm-hmm. The green will grow.
Yeah, the green will grow. Which, by the way, a dead man will fall. We saw the beginning of that.
Yep. Souls will be lost. That was Ragman.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all his souls, all the rags.
That's a shit ton of souls. Like, I do wonder what happens to them. Because he has a lot of souls.
They finally go off to their respective places. Like, some of them go to heaven, some of them go to the Great Mead Hall. I was about to say Valkyrie. No.
Valhalla?
No. Valhalla, yes, thank you. It was some with a V. It wasn't Valkyrie. Yeah. Yeah.
But no, so they go and see Swamp Thing. And of course, for those of you who have read any Swamp Thing or Constantine, those two have a very storied history with one another. And it's a checkered relationship. I won't even say friendship. It's a checkered relationship.
It really is a strange relationship. I was hoping to see some Swamp Thing in here because I knew John Constantine was going to be in here. It seems like Swamp Thing is well used a lot in the magical story writing when it comes to DC. And DC has a very awesome extended magical chapter of it. I mean, they've even given them their own Justice League, you know? That's kind of cool. Yeah. The Justice League that easily could take down Superman because of a weakness to magic, you know? Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah.
So it's at this meeting between these three.
Yep.
Where it's revealed that, okay, you've already chosen a side, haven't you? And Swamp Thing says, yeah. He essentially says that Swamp Thing won't fight Team Batman unless he absolutely has to. He doesn't want to, but he does agree with Superman's side of things because he's saying that his the green is recovering.
Right. Superman's totalitarian methods here and his complete dictatorship of the planet has impeded and stopped all wars, all cutting down of forests, the rainforest in the best shape they've been in so many years. So why wouldn't our boy team up with Superman? He's pro-planet at this point, you know? He's keeping that environment strong. So even though it's so black and white and easy for our boy, Swamp Thing in order to help make up his mind, that still leaves a lot of gray room that luckily our boy Swamp Thing kind of also understands, but just doesn't give a crap about. Yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah. Like, I don't care about man. That tree's happy. That makes me happy.
Yep.
That tree's happy. That bush is upset because you're standing on it. Yes. But screw you. Yeah. Not in that words. Those words.
You know, like, that does remind me, man. Like,
what's on your mind?
Last year, they released an absolute edition of Swamp Thing, and it was, I believe it was Alan Moore's run on the character, and I was like, that looks gorgeous. I really, really fucking want that, and I found it on sale for half off.
Awesome.
And
so why don't you have it?
I made the cardinal mistake of just subconsciously assuming it'll be there forever. Now, of course, you can't find it, and if you do find it, it's like triple the price. Ooh. So yeah,
that sucks.
Yeah.
Welcome to the industry.
So, moral of the story, guys: if there's ever an omnibus that you want and you know it's coming out, buy it immediately.
There's a couple of veteran comic book collectors out there, just like yourself, who are nodding their head and thinking, I've seen some things. They have their own version of that story. Yes. There's one who probably said the same thing about the Wolverine when we held it up, you know? Yeah, but...
that's been great, by the way, so far. I really like the first chat. Yeah.
Dope.
I'll
have to take that from your library later.
Oh, yeah. Anyways, what we get here, though, is that, so Swamp Thing, he won't attack Team Batman unless he has to, but for now he's with Team Superman. But we pan over to Nanda Parbat. That's always been a magical city in the realm of DC. And we are introduced to Ramakrishna, who is a super uber powerful goddess. And she's the one who bestowed Boston Brand with the Dead Man powers.
Okay.
Dead Man goes back to her hoping for help, but she goes, "This is beyond my repair. There's nothing I can do for you." And
you're going to die.
Yeah, you're going to die. And he goes, "Yeah, I kind of figured, but do I get to choose my successor?" And she goes, "Yeah, you do." And at the end of this chapter, we do see that he chooses a successor.
Yep. And we won't talk about it yet, to be continued. Because they don't show it to us yet.
So they don't show it to us at the end of this chapter?
I mean, no, they don't show us anything. No. I mean, we see a hand. And we see the side of a face. We don't see a name. Shut up. Go to bed.
Gee, all right.
Where's the boo sound at? There's clapping, there's cheering, there's sad trombone. Where's the boo? No. No, damn it. That's the wrong one.
So
I thought that was the sad one. No. There it is. Yeah. We're having too much fun with this new board.
We are.
I forget, what were purple and pink again? Those I cannot remember what
you
those
made me
are.
forget too. Purple is...
See, that's why I needed to play on you a second ago. And what's pink? Okay, that was weird. Although we should be using that a lot more for the magical year of Injustice, I guess. But I don't like the way it sounds. So,
I'll keep all these in mind from here on.
I gotta remember them too, just to know
remember, like,
them.
the correlation. Yeah.
The only one that matters is we customize the big red one to be our theme song. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Intro music.
But we do get the reveal as to who Deadman's successor is, and it's none other than
Silent drum roll because we're recording and don't want that out on the mic. Nightwing.
I thought that was a great call.
It really was.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, definitely. I'm happy I didn't see that coming. A dead man will fall, a dead man will rise. Well, the dead man that rose was none other than Nightwing himself. So, hell yeah, we're not done with Dick Grayson.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna talk about the stuff he has yet, but
sure,
he's not brought back for no reason, or for just simple fanfare because he's popular.
Right. There's a reason they kind of broke very hard and went hard right on the canon, on what is known in DC and what's comfortable to read about in DC. There's a good reason they brought him back in such a dramatically different way from what we're used to reading with Dick Grayson.
He was very well used.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be continued.
Hell yeah. So Deadman has a new successor. It's Deadwing.
Get out.
Okay. Chapter 6 is called Secret Weapons. And this is actually just a really quick chapter here. I don't have a whole lot on this one, but
dope.
Team Bat, they talk about the prophecy and about the things to come. And I think at this point it's where Detective Chimp comes out and goes, "Oh well, obviously the Empress will rise. That's Wonder Woman." And Constantine's kind of like, "Oh well, fuck." He doesn't say that though because he's played a part in her slumber. Mm-hmm. But moving on though, we do get a scene where the Phantom Stranger, who's another really powerful magic, one of the most powerful magic users in DC, he confronts the Spectre.
It's like Spectre and the Phantom Stranger are less magic users, and they're more magical forces. You know,
yeah,
like they're almost like more like a source of magic, really. Although they are their own separate entities at the same time, to where they both are, by their own definition, some type of immortal.
Right.
They're very much above that in humanity, as we already knew Spectre was, because the Spectre has a couple of great stories he's a part of where we kind of see that play. Phantom Stranger, admittedly, I was a little bit more of a stranger to, no pun intended on purpose. But, basically just imagine like two different lore level deities that actually stop and have a conversation with one another, because they are still nevertheless personages. Yes. I slurred it the first time, so I felt like, oh no, let's repeat that. There you go. Yeah.
Well,
personages.
Well, you sound wonderful to me.
Why, thank you. It's because of these awesome mics. Yeah. Hey. Go Dynamic.
But what we get here is like a really kind of what starts off as a candid conversation between two ultra magical beings, and Phantom Stranger quickly deduces who's inside there. Like, who are
he's
you?
able to also detect something's not right here with the Spectre.
Mm-hmm. And Spectre attacks Phantom Stranger, and the two do go at it, and then they get into a fight. And long story short here, the fight does end with the Phantom Stranger being killed.
Technically, he's a god, but I'm going to put that as a tally, because that's another named character down. So,
Yep, so Phantom Stranger, he's done. Like, damn. But the next thing we get here is also pretty interesting. We go back to the Hall of Justice,
Dun, dun, dun.
And all of a sudden, it's like Hal, Sinestro, and Superman. They're all standing around. They're like, "Does anyone else smell brimstone?" And no, it's not Nightcrawler. It's Etrigan.
Hey.
So yeah, Etrigan. He comes in the scene and just breathes that hellfire,
Which is awesome because it's actually a super effective attack in this run.
Yes.
The Lanterns don't have nothing for it. Like they're basically out for the count here, you know.
Yeah. Sinestro gets the brunt of it, and Hal takes him away for medical attention, and even Superman is having a hard time dealing with the hellfire.
Yeah.
And so Etrigan and Superman go at it for a while, and it's pretty interesting because we see that Etrigan is revealed to be none other than Bruce Wayne or Batman. So Batman has literally made a deal with the demon and has assumed, or at least allowed Etrigan to consume control. And this is a really kind of cool thing to do here.
Although temporarily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is kind of the thing that I was curious about.
Because once Etrigan assumes control, that has to be for an eternity type deal. Normally, especially with Jason Blood, that was the case.
Right.
Because Jason was a knight. He was a crusader of whatever century. Yeah.
Oh yeah. He's hundreds of years old.
Yeah.
He's ancient.
Yeah.
And that's the thing though, because it's John Constantine asked Batman, what are you willing to sacrifice to win this war? And Batman said, only myself. And Constantine said, that'll do.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, honestly, for the rest of this omnibus, we don't see, that being used again.
That's why I'm kind of thinking it was a one-time deal.
Right.
Yeah.
I just kind of wonder, what was the framework of that deal? How'd you get that? It had to be some kind of strings Constantine pulled.
I don't know. Yeah. Well, I mean, arguably the whole story, the whole year is just Constantine pulling strings, playing the long, slow game.
Yes.
Like a bastard. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I'm a Constantine fan because of his level of cleverness, but people on his level of cleverness should not exist because it's you manipulative son of a bitch.
Yeah, and that's the whole truth, brother.
Yeah, that's the thesis on John Constantine.
But we do see that it is Batman who has the Etrigan demon, but then he uses a type of spell or a type of magical property to put Superman in a eternal slumber.
That's called sleeping sand, Quentin.
Oh, yes.
Sandman.
It would have been great if they, visited, Morbius and be like, hey, so...
Morbius DC, not Morbius Marvel. Yeah. If that wasn't obvious, I mean,
good point. Sandman Morbius.
Yeah.
And also not Morbius from the Matrix. Okay.
There's a couple of homies that were grateful for that comment, but then there were just as many, if not more, that just rolled their eyes and said, "Shut up, Kevin. Shut up."
No, I actually think that is a good call to actually make that clarification. Especially seeing that one Morbius has a movie coming out and the other one has a TV series.
Right. I mean, one's more popular right now for sure. The other one, hopefully, that TV series will come out as a banger.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Straight up.
Needs to be. Apparently, Neil Gaiman is all hands on deck for it. So
that's good.
Yes.
Yeah.
But no, Sandman doesn't make an appearance here.
Won't.
But no,
not yet. No.
It would have been great if they just kept one-upping each other. Oh, y'all got Spectre. We got
Sandman. We got God. Wait, what? Comics.
Oh shit. Oh, we went over to Marvel and we got the one above all. So
we went over to Marvel and we got Captain America. Wait,
what? They're like, oh well, we got Batman.
Right.
Oh, okay. Anyways, that is where this chapter ends. That's where chapter 6 ends.
Yeah.
Superman, he is in that eternal slumber of sorts.
Yeah. It turns out that the sleeping sand here, this magical tool, essentially, was the same that was used on Wonder Woman, and that's why she's eternally sleeping. Oh no! And now Superman just had the same dust.
Yep.
Yeah, which is kind of dope.
It was a clever way to explain, Wonder Woman's prolonged absence.
Exactly. Yeah, because she was out for the count, but we've seen her take heavier blows and come back quicker than what put her out in year one. Right. If you remember, she was out for the count, and Superman was kind of at her bedside for a while, before he went back to being a tyrant. Yeah. But I really like this chapter. Of all the chapters included in year 3, this one stuck out to me a lot. Like, I dug it.
Yeah, I think this is my favorite chapter in year 3.
This what-if story within the grand scheme of the story.
Yes. Yeah. This chapter is called For the Man Who's Lost Everything. Yeah. This is a fantastic chapter, brother.
Yeah.
And also, oddly enough, and I want to get your thoughts on this, too, to see if you think there's any kind of, maybe emotional or symbolic gesture, but this was the last chapter that Tom Taylor wrote, and from here, Brian Buccellato wrote the rest of Injustice.
Really?
Yes.
Huh. Mm-hmm. I wonder why they decided that.
It could have been because maybe Tom Taylor got tired of it. He had a lot on his plate. Maybe he's doing something else. Hard to say.
I mean, those are such practical, boring reasons, but yeah. So... I'll have to sit here and focus on the after chapters of this one and see if I notice something like that, Yeah. That's really interesting, yeah. Because I know Tom didn't write every chapter that we've read up to this point.
Right.
There was one I know in particular that I know he didn't write. But, yeah, that's interesting.
Oh, yeah. I mean, because, for the most part, the chapters that he didn't write or at least help write were just the
standalone stories,
the interludes. Yeah,
yeah.
Those were the only ones.
We basically just said synonyms.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But yeah, man. So
so this is basically it's a retelling of the very very first chapter in Injustice.
Exactly, but a different outcome of it essentially. Whereas if you guys remember year 1 and you've been following with us on these episodes talking about Injustice, you'll remember that the whole battles and all the war and whatnot with Superman and his change on his look on humanity began because a certain criminal, aka Joker, tricked him into, misseeing the situation and grabbing what he thought was an awesome doomsday, taking him up to space and trying to kill him. But in reality, it turned out to be Lois Lane and Drugman. You know who that reminds me of?
Snowflame.
Snowflame. Yeah, that superhero. Look him up, guys. Google him. I promise, it's totally worth it. Snowflame. Bring him back.
God. Fucking Snowflame.
I think he would be amazing in a movie. He would not be appropriate for audiences everywhere.
No, he wouldn't.
He'd have to be rated R. Don't bring your kids to this one level, but it'd be awesome.
He gets his powers from doing cocaine.
He gets his powers from coke.
We're not making this up.
He actually exists. He was a one-and-done character in an older run. He was in Brazil, of all places. No, Colombia. He was in Colombia.
Of course. Of
course, because he had to be. It's Colombia. No offense, Colombia. No. But, yeah, man, I mean, it was so funny. Snowflame. He's more powerful the more drugs he does, and his religion is drugs.
It's amazing how...
He's drug man.
Because just like with movies, comics have to go through a chain of people to be approved and released. And it's how did this...
Because he's awesome, Quentin. You don't understand how hilariously valuable this character is. But no, Superman on some weird Joker drug hallucinated the whole thing, and he accidentally kills Lois Lane, who was not only, his love, but also the carrier of his child. So Superman just killed 2 people he loved. Oh no. And that's what started the whole thing, of course. And this what if, though, she survives. She lives. He brings her down in time to save her, and oh, hey, everybody's still happy.
Yep. So, yes, she doesn't die in this chapter. In this chapter, she's alive and the baby's all right.
Yeah.
And Batman says, I'll take care of the Joker. And Superman says, oh, yeah, like you have in the past. And Batman goes, Clark, I promise I won't never let him hurt you again. And so the Joker and Batman are driving. in the Batmobile, and the Joker is being the Joker, man. Just always antagonizing, always having fun at everybody else's expense. And goes like, I wish you talk more on these long drives back to Arkham, and this, that, and the third. And Batman kills the Joker.
He does, because they're sitting driver shotgun, Joker right there, and Joker is just kind of like carrying on, like, look, it's fun between you and I, and this is great, and I didn't want it to stop, and it's not going to. But just to let you know, I might branch out and do my awesome criminal activity with other people, like Superman. I'd love to get my hands on Lois Lane and the child once it's born. Children scream in such a... And then he's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love Tom's writing again, man. Like, his writing for the Joker is just on point.
It so was, dude. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
And, Batman just straight up breaks his neck.
Yeah. And coincidentally, this part I found a little, over the top for my taste. But I loved it nevertheless. The whole thing of it. The entire thing is valuable, where it's like he pulls up in the Batmobile and Jim, Harvey, and Montoya, they're all sitting there on the sidewalk together, which I thought that was really, convenient. But nevertheless, that's not super important. What is important is that he pulls up, steps out, the cowl is off. You see the face of Bruce Wayne in the Batsuit, pulls up and exposes himself, lifts up the passenger door. There's a dead Joker. I need to report a crime.
Yep.
Enough said, done. I really dug that. It was like, oh, that's powerful.
Yeah, it is.
Especially considering he's never exposed himself to these people. He's never given out his secret identity, the most valuable thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And, like, obviously, like, this is just like a dream sequence, but, it's like I can see, like, Jim giving Batman every opportunity to essentially give himself a get out of jail free card. I can see Jim literally saying, I understand the Joker tried to attack you, you retaliate in self-defense. It's all right. No, you're not listening. The Joker attacked you, right?
Right, yeah. Although I think you and I both know Bruce wouldn't go for that, man.
He wouldn't go
be
for
like,
that. No, absolutely not.
Jim, I murdered him. This is what happened.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Bruce wouldn't go for it, but Jim would try.
Yeah. Jim and a lot of Batman's allies that he's won on the legal system would be like, nah, I mean, we could falsify this.
Yeah.
It happens,
But no, what we do see is that Lois does have the child, and the child's name is Laura Lane Kent. So it is a girl. Superman has a little girl. So sorry, John. There's no young Superboy this time around. It's a girl.
I love this next part so hard, though. Superman goes to visit Bruce in jail, and I cannot tell you how hilarious this is. So he visits him in jail, and of course these over the top godlike characters of DC are sitting there with a panel of jail glass in between them with the phone conversation. Hey, how you doing today? Hey, how's the food in jail? You okay? Is everything... trying to have a conversation visit. And Superman realizes that, wait, you did this. You killed Joker because he was going to try again. He was going to come and try at Lois and the baby again and try to kill them. Superman straight up stands up, walks through, bursting open the glass, the bench where everyone is, the phone,
the metal,
walks through it like it's air, and this just... And he stands there and he hugs him. Yes. And the guards are just like, whoa, don't move, don't move, don't move. The fuck are they gonna do?
They had to realize that, it's just whatever.
We're aiming pea shooters at a god.
Right.
Okay? This isn't gonna work. If he wanted to, he could have broke him out. He even offered, like, I will fly you out of here right now.
Yeah. Say the word and we walk.
Yeah.
And of course,
he literally just like go. I love the image of him standing up, like, wait, you did this for me? You changed and broke your own code of morality for me? Let me hug you, man. Yeah. Fuck these prison rules. I'm gonna hug you. Right?
I mean, that was great though. But it was as hilarious as it was touching.
Oh yeah, super touching too. Yeah. Because in this, it shows that they are actually friends.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it is just a dream. None of this actually happened. But it's awesome to think about.
It is.
And then Bruce, of course, says no to the offer and says, I need to do the time.
I gotta do the time. Yeah.
Very Bruce. Yeah.
And it's also funny how Superman says, they say with good behavior, you can be out by the time Laura turns 2. And he's like, I'm not behaving in here.
I want you to say it one more time, but to the camera. Go ahead.
I'm not behaving in here.
Perfect. I'm beating up a lot of criminals.
Because you know what I think about it? This is just like in Watchmen when they sent Rorschach to jail, and Rorschach was like he's surrounded by thugs, and he like breaks one of their hands, and he's like, no, you guys don't get it. He throws hot grease into another inmate's face.
Yeah.
Like he's like, you guys don't get it. I'm not trapped in here with all of you. You're trapped in here with me. That's one of my favorite Rorschach moments.
It's badass. Yeah, it is. Yeah,
it's like that is exactly what Batman. I picture him doing in this situation. It's like, you think that he's trapped in there with you? Oh no.
Yeah.
But we do see little Laura grow up. She learns to fly, and you do wonder in this situation, like if I were, especially Lois, I would be spending so much time with Clark's parents. Like, how did you do this? How did you raise?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, luckily they're already close.
Right.
They have such a picture perfect relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything's going pretty good there.
It is. Yeah. But, we see her learning how to aim with Green Arrow, with her laser vision. Like, we see her growing up.
Right. And Superman's there every step of the way. It's continuing this heart-tug, endearing story.
Right.
Superman quickly, speed of light, breaks in order to arrive for Laura's first flight. He's there to help teach her how to fly confidently. He's there for everything. Oh, she's catching a falling satellite. I'm here if you need me. And she's gripping the thing, straining as it parades itself down the freaking Earth. Yeah.
It's great. He's there when she stops a group of brainiacs out in space. And then she realizes that, there needs to be some type of intervention. Like, she feels that she can convince the people of Earth to, oddly enough, to essentially do what Superman is doing now. At least lay the groundwork for it. To have she doesn't use the word ceasefire, but she thinks that the world can be more peaceful.
She does it the right way.
Yeah.
She doesn't force them to do it. She encourages them to converse and to communicate and to actually, there's a way she put it. Whenever she was actually at the press conference talking to the United Nations here. There it is. We are out of time. There is no more time for cruelty, for greed, for self-interest to rule us. That is a beautiful statement.
It is.
It really is a heavy statement, because how long? Well, not a political. Nope, never mind. Hey, how you doing tonight, bud? You good?
I'm good.
I'm drinking kombucha. How about you?
You're gonna say something really politically firing.
Laura, it's a dream. Catch me later, and we'll talk about that. But hey, comics. How you doing tonight? Yeah.
What'd you think of Superman's Kingdom Come suit here at the end of those pages?
Dude, I caught it, and it made me smile, man. Because Kingdom Come was a great story. Again, another one where Superman's kind of doing something similar here.
No, Superman,
he's not being the tyrant here.
No, not Kingdom Come.
I'm trying to remember actually. No, excuse me. I'm thinking something else. Man, my bad.
Maybe Red Sun.
I think so. Yeah. We read those very close to each other, so now I'm kind of okay. Excuse me, guys. But, no. I'm trying to...
It's got that
there it is. Yeah. Okay. Actually, that's not the one I thought of. Later on, I saw a different one I thought you were referencing, but no, I didn't even notice that one there.
Yeah, it's got the big S with the black background. It really looks like the Kingdom Come Superman emblem.
Which made sense, because in Kingdom Come and in this one, he's older Superman. He's, Clark Senior.
Right.
Yeah.
But no, it's also funny to see, because at this point, obviously Laura, she's a grown adult now. Wonder Woman and Batman have paired up, and those two are together.
Yep. Married even.
Married, yeah. Like Batman definitely got the good end of that stick. Like, hey, I have immortal Amazon babe. Like,
yep.
I'm set.
I've won.
Yes, I've won.
Yeah.
And all your days, Clark, and in your darkest
Not
moments.
to say Selena Kyle isn't a win.
Yeah, no, obviously, she's also a win.
I mean, Batman just couldn't lose.
Right, yeah. I mean, hell, even Talia, like, shit, you like him a little crazy, you know? I mean, you got options.
They had a good time. Don't mind me.
Oh, man. But no, it ends kind of sadly. And this was like, I think it's Superman and Lois sitting on the porch. And he says that, you know, he hears the voices calling, like they're reaching out at the edges, and he feels like he's loved this life, but it's gone by too quickly, and he's afraid that it's all going to end. And it does, because it's just a dream.
Yeah.
I do think that this was almost like Tom Taylor's kind of. I mean, obviously, this was a goodbye to him for Injustice, at least for Injustice 1.
Right. Let me guess what you're about to say. Is basically you're saying his tip of the hat to the book. Like, okay, this is my. See you guys later. Goodbye. Boom.
Yeah, and I really do think, because he is such a huge Superman fan, that even if it was in just Clark's dream state, that, I mean, he probably wanted to leave like a blank slate for Brian Buccellato to pick up on and continue. And two, he also probably wanted to write the Clark Kent that he always wanted to write. Yeah. And in this chapter, he was able to do so.
I mean, excuse me, that might be information being put into the book, but I really like that. I hope that is exactly the cause, you know? Because if you do get your hands on one of your favorite characters ever, and you're given the authority and the power and resources to write a great and powerful story about said character, it'd be hard, you know? Right. At least on an emotional, you know, almost even shallow level, it'd be difficult to write about the character in such a negative way constantly, you know? So I'm glad he did get that time to say, you know what, I'm going to at least end on this positive note, my part of this, knowing that this story is in capable hands to continue on and finish the way that it needs to for the readers.
Yeah. Yeah, and so that is technically where we say goodbye to Tom Taylor and enter Brian Buccellato.
Bye, Tom Taylor.
Well, at least, you know what? That's all he does for Injustice 1. And apparently for Injustice 2, he wrote a good portion of that too. But this is his goodbye for Injustice 1. Yeah. So the next chapter here is Awakenings. That's because people wake up. We see... so we are awakened from the dream world.
Get out. No one wakes up like that. What is this, a commercial? We'll be right back after these messages. Anyways.
Oh, yeah. But I have written down here. Jeez, what was I thinking? Diana dreams of sexy times with Clark.
Yeah, basically.
I mean, yeah, she does. Like, she has this whole dream of her and Clark watching a sunrise or a sunset, a sun doing something. And
don't worry, ladies. Q knows the difference. We're good.
Yeah, you know, the sun's out in the sky, and then it does.
You're standing on the beach. You're having the same sequence. The sun's doing something.
The sun's doing the thing. Like, if anything, it shows that like I am not a hopeless romantic type. I'm definitely more of a like a straightforward thing. Like, it's a fucking sun. We've seen this before. Let's go. Yeah. But no, so what we get here, though, is that this is just a dream where her and Clark share an intimate moment. And she's awakened by Hippolyta, her mother. Yep. And her mother explains the situation that she was put in a deep sleep by some type of magic that her and the other Amazonians couldn't figure out. And so she reached out and made a deal with Ares, the god of war, who apparently has the means to awaken people from that type of slumber.
So real quick, actually, that was interesting, and I wanted to point out something symbolic I noticed here that they didn't purposely stew on for much. They didn't give it much attention. In other words, notice that a lot of these heroes are working very well with their nemesis, their nemesi, excuse me, their counterparts. First, Superman and Lex became dope friends.
Right.
Then we saw Green Lantern and Sinestro become super good friends. Now we're seeing Wonder Woman in a situation where she's about to confront Ares and do so in a situation where they're not fighting, but potentially working together. And I'll go ahead and spoil it for you to continue making and finishing my point here. They do work together. They're at least on the same team. Now, is it as much of a teamwork thing as Lex and Supes or, Hal and Sinestro? Not so much so, and maybe that's why they don't stew on it. But there is a symbolic thing to be said there, where all these heroes are becoming more alike and even working with their nemesis, their counterparts, almost a little too well.
Yeah. And that's actually a really good point. You're right. Yeah. There's a lot of that kind of going on here.
Yeah.
And
I mean, how bloodthirsty has Wonder Woman been this whole book?
Oh, yeah.
At least whenever we've seen her capable of being bloodthirsty. Or, how much is Superman trying to command and, dictate and control everything? Like a familiar Lex Luthor here,
Very true.
And now freaking Hal literally is a Yellow Lantern like Sinestro,
right.
who is now, a captain of fear. Enough said, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do kind of wonder what happened. Maybe we'll get more of this in years 4 and 5. I wonder what happened to like the rest of the Green Lanterns who surrendered. Like,
anyways, yeah. But yeah, man, we got a good book left to cover here. Let's go on.
Yeah. So at this point, Wonder Woman, she goes back to the Hall of Justice. She does have Ares with her. And she sees Superman laying on the table wearing a Yellow Lantern garb, and she sees the ring on his finger, and then she looks to Sinestro, and I mean, like, really, almost no words needed. She's like, "Oh, fuck you," and she attacks Sinestro.
Verbatim.
Yes, that's exactly what she says. She says, "Oh, fuck you." And then she attacks Sinestro. That's how it's written in my copy. I don't know what yours is. Yeah.
Man. We have we have different translations.
But no. So she attacks Sinestro, and while Sinestro is trying to defend himself, Ares does perform the magic voodoo that he needs to do to wake Superman up.
I do like, real quick on a joking level, what Ares does to Hal,
who
attempts to help break up the fight, of course, and he's like, "This is not your fight," and just like backhands this man through a wall. Right. And it's like, man, Ares is cool. He won a thumbs up for me.
It's not quite as bad as Sail hitting Hercule, but it's not far off.
Yeah, because the Hercule, and he's flipping over, landing into a big old rock. Yeah. Dragon Ball Z, we love it.
Hell yeah. But
yeah,
Superman does wake up, and he is able to get Wonder Woman to stop. And when they do, you would think that their reunion would be a tad bit more touching than it is, but no, Wonder Woman, she's not really having it, really.
She's cold.
Yeah.
I think she really wanted to be the lieutenant here on the more emotional, psychological level. That's just me doing guesswork and putting information into the book. But deriving from the book itself, we see her, collect and then dismantle the yellow ring. So now Superman lost the power of fear, luckily, so that's dope. Yeah. That's awesome.
He didn't need it.
He didn't. Yeah. He really didn't. But who's to argue? But we see her kind of comprehending the situation that Sinestro and Hal have become his left and right hand, that they've been able to continue just fine without her, and she's another soldier, not the go-to general.
Yeah.
So
that's a very good point, actually, and I can see that getting to her, especially like in this,
especially after the dream she just had.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Come on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you guys ever have a dream that like you're with like insert famous hot ass celebrity, only to realize, oh man, it was just a fucking dream, and now I need new sheets. Like every.
All right, move along. Move along here. Nothing to say.
Oh, okay. But now moving on here. The next thing we get here is Spectre shows up and goes, "Hey, I know where Team Batman is," and then he takes them all to the Tower of Fate, and that is where the chapter ends.
Yep.
Chapter 9 is Fight or Flight. One thing I definitely realized about Brian Buccellato, at least so far with his writings, is that he maybe it's because the story dictates it. I don't know, but
what's that?
He's a lot more battle focused, it seems, than Tom Taylor. Whereas Tom Taylor, he will have like little battles, but then like the one big battle in his years.
So I think he must have done that on purpose. At this point, the evidence seems to point that way.
Right.
I'm guessing that it was easier to let other people write the battles out and for them to kind of like interpret, okay, we want this battle to do and for him to kind of like help orchestrate the grand scheme of the story, but for him to delegate, okay, I know that this is a strength of yours, you do this part. Mm-hmm. I'm just theorizing here, but it's something. Yeah,
it could be.
Yeah.
It's just he does like guys are like Game of Thrones does the sex positions where like they have a lot of their exposition or plot detailing while the characters having sex. It's like a lot of that is done here.
Thank you for
throughout
defining that, because I kind of forgot that word of yours. Sex position. Someone listening just said, "Ooh, no, let me fast forward this part." 15 seconds.
Sex position, in case they did it.
No, stop. This is not the Kama Sutra.
Jesus. But no, I just kind of felt like a little bit of that goes on, but replace the sex with like gratuitous violence and attacking one another.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with it, just something I kind of noticed.
Well, in this part here, it was kind of necessary for there to be a grand battle beginning because this is the climax of the year. Right. This is the big moment.
Yes.
Or the beginning of. So.
Like the thing of it is though is that like the battle honestly starts here and doesn't stop until the end of the book.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so we do get the fight. Dr. Fate goes, "Hey man, I don't want y'all fucking up my shit." Like that's what he says verbatim.
We gotta get you a different book, but I think you bought a Wish.com one.
Well, I like my version.
No offense to Wish.com.
All offense. You guys sell garbage products. You know it.
Cute. We don't need to get sued, bud. We go to court for $16.
But $16. Yeah. But no, this chapter actually starts off with Dick Grayson, Dead Man. He goes off to kind of figure out what in the world is going on with Spectre, and so he goes to Arkham and he finds Jim Corrigan, and he's insane. Yeah, and
almost doing a Joker-esque laugh.
Yeah, like he's been Jokerized. I will say this though, really quick. I was misguided a little bit when I saw Jim Corrigan because he looked more like Jason Todd. Like Jason Todd is notorious for having that tuft of white hair in a lot of comics. Okay, and I was like, oh, we're getting some Red Hood action here? But no, it was Jim Corrigan. So, but no, so that tells us something. Jim Corrigan, who I always thought it was funny. His initials are JC, and then you have the Spirit of Vengeance, like this godly figure who judges people. I always wonder if they did that on purpose. But you have this.
Sure.
Yeah, why not?
What makes you feel better?
Speculation and until I find out the right answer. But no, so we do go back to the Tower of Fate and we get this big fight going on here. Dr. Fate does kind of transmute the grounds to like this puzzle-esque stairway of a battleground.
Yeah, well, what is that famous painting with all the stairway? I'm going to look it up real quick just so I can finish making a point that might make us sound smart.
But yeah, so we eventually get to a point in the fight where Constantine he summons forth Trigon, and Trigon enters the battlefield, and he immediately starts attacking Superman and anybody trying to stop him, or trying to stop Trigon. And it's funny because John says that, I may have had Etrigan spread rumors that Superman had Raven kidnapped.
So I found it, guys. For those of you watching on YouTube, you saw me clicking away on my phone here. So the image is called Relativity. And this is the beginning, and it's not going to be a long smart point, but I want to make one smart point for the podcast. Help us out a little bit. It is a lithograph print by the Dutch artist M.C. Escher. Yep, which, we've heard that name before, so yeah. The Escher painting and whatnot. But yeah, it is the famous painting of all the stairs that go every which way. That's exactly where they're at here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there you go. Yeah. Yep. The
Very
more
nice.
you know.
The more you know.
All right, let's go.
Dick Grayson comes and he warns Bruce about the Spectre. And
Bruce, the Spectre's a bitch. Watch out. Dick, we know.
Yes.
That's what my book says.
Wow. We do have different copies. Dick says that he found Jim Corrigan insane in Arkham, and he had been Jokerized, essentially, except it was magic. It wasn't with the toxin. Mm-hmm. And then at this point, we cut back, and Constantine, he's like, all right, we got to get out of here. So he transports all of them, or all of his team, to the House of Mystery.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the book, or at the end of the chapter, it's revealed that Spectre is being controlled by Mr. Mixius Picklick. Hate his fucking name.
I was going to wait for you to say it before I attempted to say it. So don't feel bad. Please keep hacking at it.
Mixius Picklick. There we go.
One more time.
Mixius Picklick.
Mixius Picklick. We said the same thing.
It's like mix.
Yets.
Picked.
Lit.
There you go.
Mixius Picklick. Yes. That's a dumb name. It's a stupid name. It's a great name, but it is difficult to say.
There's
no vowels.
There's no vowels. Like, this is the second time that he's been mentioned here in the podcast, and I butcher his name every time.
Both of those times.
Yeah, all both. Well, I'm saying this also for the future. Yeah, so.
Oh yeah, that's true. We're gonna keep messing it up.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna pseudonym him to Leprechaun God. He looks like a giant leprechaun in a better suit.
Yeah, but he's a great character. I mean, he really is one of like the most intriguing Superman villains.
I was surprised to see him
because he
feels like he was a gag character made in back when Superman was titled The World's Finest instead. Yeah. He was created pretty long ago.
Yeah. But hell, I guess so was most of the gallery.
It just feels like he especially was like a great gag character, but he stuck around.
Yeah. I mean, it's so funny because when his whole ordeal is that he is an imp from the fifth dimension, and his whole thing was that he always says that the fifth dimension is a terrible place. He always says that. And he likes Superman because he's interesting. That's always his thing.
He's the only one worthy.
Yeah. Now, one of my first encounters with him was on like a super old cartoon, and they pronounced his name differently, and apparently that was the wrong pronunciation they did on the TV show. Yeah. So he said, like, my name is Mr. Mixius Picklick is what they said. It's like, well...
Isn't the crazy thing about him if you can successfully say his name backwards, you can disband him?
I think
that's his magic, isn't it?
Yeah. You have to trick him into doing something like that.
Oh yeah, he has to say it backwards.
Yes.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
Yeah, it is.
See, it's gags like that make me think like, okay, he's made to be more of like a crazy workaround, awesome gag, but kind of like fun and funny character, Right. But he still is today, even though they're using him in a very cool and serious mode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The second time I saw him, I was a kid. I don't know if you watched the show, Kevin. It was The Adventures of Lois and Clark. Yeah. It was the Dean Cain version of Superman.
I don't recall it, brother. Yeah.
But no, he was on that show. Howie Mandel, I think, actually played Mr. and Mrs. Picklick. Yeah, and Howie had hair back then. I forgot that Howie had hair. But that was like, yeah. So I saw that like when I was a kid. I was like, this guy's kind of fucked up because he put Superman in like a time loop, kind of like Groundhog's Day. And I was like, oh, you're in a fucked up situation. I never finished the episode because my dad made me go cut the grass, and so I never figured out how Superman got out.
That's dope.
But no, that is where this chapter ends though. Mr. M, the imp from the fifth dimension, has been controlling the Spectre.
Yep.
Chapter 10 is House of Secrets. And it's kind of funny because there are technically two different houses. There is the House of Mystery and then there's the House of Secrets. The interesting thing about these, though, is that these just started off as comic issues. Like, these were just a run of comics.
Yeah.
Kind of like how Marvel had Journey into Mystery.
Yeah.
Like, DC's kind of equivalent to that was the House of Secrets. And then they had a spin-off comic, House of Mystery, where there was no kind of continuity. There was just, you read a comic.
Standalone stories.
Yeah. It was kind of a cool thing. And then eventually they made them into actual properties or places within DC Comics. But no, this starts off with the fight between Trigon and Mr. M. And it continues.
So again, two deity level powerhouses going toe to toe. We've messed with a lot of power in this year. A lot of things that would dare attempt to put Superman in his place,
Yeah.
Spectre. We messed with Phantom Stranger. Trigon, which might be a name more familiar to a lot of people out there, thanks to Teen Titans and whatnot. And then, of course, Mixlex Pixit. I said it perfectly. Let's move on.
that was close enough. You get a
yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so our heroes are transported to.
I just thought of something ridiculous. Does the clapping play for the video? Do they know what we're doing when we press those buttons?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Huh. We promise there's sounds when we play those. Let's move on. Okay.
But yeah, so Team Batman, they are teleported to the House of Mystery.
Get out. No, House of Mystery needs the dark one. No. There you go.
Oh.
Yeah, the dark one. Yeah. Let's use.
Yes. And then shortly thereafter, Mr. M, he teleports Teen Superman also to the outskirts of the House of Mystery.
Yep.
And it's here that...
Keep going.
Okay.
I'll catch up.
It's here that the fight continues. Swamp Thing, he does come in and he attacks Team Batman, and who have taken the pills, the super pills at this point, all except for Constantine.
Yep.
He relies on his magic. Deadwing thinks of a plan to keep Swamp Thing occupied. And the chapter ends with Superman and Shazam together taking down Batman. So it looks like Batman's down for the count. Spoiler alert, he's not really, but they're standing over Batman. So.
Right, yeah.
Chapter 11 is called Goodbyes and Farewells.
Yeah.
This chapter also has a really touching moment in it, and I really like this one. So Dick, I don't know where they are or how long any of this is taking, but Dick, he has to go back to Gotham.
Yep.
He gets the bat plane. Mm-hmm. Assumes control of Poison Ivy.
Also, yes.
He
probably did that in reverse order.
Yeah,
but yeah.
Okay. Flies her back to the House of Mystery, which where is the fucking physical location, because it has no geography on the map where the House of Mystery is located. But he flies them back to the House of Mystery. He hops out of her body, and she's in the cockpit of the bat plane. The poor Poison Ivy, she didn't ask for any of this.
She really didn't. She's literally just like waking up in the seat of this overcomplicated jet that she does not know how to fly. Where am I? What? And she sees the battle outside. What?
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. In her situation, I'd be freaked out, but I also feel like a badass. Like, I'm flying a stealth jet.
Yeah.
This is fucking
Looks out the window. Oh, the bat stealth jet. Yeah.
And then I could definitely feel like a badass when I realize it has autopilot. I should be good.
Yeah, and hopefully auto land.
Or auto fly my ass around until Batman comes and picks me up. But no, so he brought Poison Ivy to the battlefield, essentially to be a distraction for Swamp Thing, and Swamp Thing even deduces that pretty quickly.
Yeah,
you know,
but it works.
It does. Yeah. We also see Dick take possession of Shazam, and he Shazams himself back into the form of Billy.
Shazam.
Yeah, but before he does that, he punches Wonder Woman, and then he teleports into Billy.
Yeah.
And then he has a really cool conversation with Bruce, and how he basically says he was, ungrateful as a kid for everything Bruce did for him, and how Bruce gave him a chance to, to be a man and to have a life worth living, and how it's not about how he died, it's about how he lived, about how he loves Bruce. He's the best father figure he's ever had, and that he should give Damian another chance. And so the two hug, and yeah, like that was just a really kind of a cool moment. It was the closure.
Yeah,
that was really cool and needed there. So I really enjoyed that.
That was awesome. Yeah. It was awesome also looking at an image of Batman, knocking out with a karate chop Billy Batson.
Yeah.
While Ghost Dick Grayson is behind him saying, "Love you, Dad."
Yeah.
It's like, that's a layered image. Like so much positivity and violence here.
Yeah. Okay, so the next thing we get here is Wonder Woman. She accidentally get your tally ready. She kills the Huntress. She wraps the lasso of truth around her neck and snatches on it, and then is surprised when the neck snaps.
Right. She makes Pikachu face at, it broke your neck.
It's like, I picture like this. All this time, Wonder Woman thought that she was keeping Batman's code. she had no idea that she was murdering people.
I use knives.
Oh, shit. That's good.
Oh, no. What was it? No. He's just asleep. There it is.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Okay, so John and Dr. Fate, they try to tell Hal that the magic that is around them is all consuming. And at this point, there's like little glitches in reality where like the characters kind of almost fuzz in and out.
Yeah, it's distorting, and it's drawn so interesting. We haven't talked much about the art of this book because there's not a lot we need to say. It's awesome. It's dope. There's a lot of different artists that have worked on this.
But there's no bad artists, and that's
exactly.
Yeah.
That's great. And one of the
no,
please.
Another really cool compliment about the artwork here is not only is there no bad art, but and I wish I could say this about more Omnis, but like the artwork as it changes artists, it's not so jarring when you go from one artist to another.
That's true. It complements.
Yeah.
It does. And here, not only do they do the work of drawing out everything, but then they also do the layered work of drawing everything out well and then distorting it for you.
They do.
Yeah. So you see like the weird in like panel A, panel B has the distortion, panel C they're just like, wait, what just happened?
Right.
Bruh, what just happened? I could have sworn I had a headache for a second.
It's like the visual manifestation of the Mandela effect. Like what the hell just happened here?
That was the wrong time to drink kombucha, brother. Daggone. Oh, my nasal capacity. Oh, okay, I'm good. Let's move on. Wow, that's clear.
But essentially what's happening here is that with the fight between Trigon and Mr. M, the magic that's being used is slowly dragging them from their realm of reality into another realm. And eventually they realize they're probably going to hell, where Trigon, like where he thrives, where his power is. Yeah. And so that's what's happening here, and shit's not good that way. Like no one makes it out if that happens.
Right. Yeah.
And so the last thing we get here is John Constantine. He agrees to let the Flash go and gather everyone and bring them back to the house.
The only one fast enough to outrun the distortions.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so Flash goes out, and he is able to get everyone except for Swamp Thing,
who willingly actually says no, go. save everyone else. I'm good. And then Swamp Thing is the next tally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, holy shit! But it's like, if you want to keep your kill count up, this is the only way I can think of to kill Swamp Thing. Constantine couldn't do it.
I mean, you can't kill him because if there is nature, he still remains.
Yeah.
But you drag his ass through some hellfire into hell.
You cut him out from his own reality, his own dimension.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. And there's no plants in hell, brother. Not even thorns.
Could you imagine if there were? Like, how powerful he'd be? Like, hell
wow.
thing? Hell swamp?
Swamp hell? Swamp. I was trying to join those words and I couldn't think of a good way.
Swell.
That's too positive.
Right.
I am swell, thank you.
Oh. Okay.
We have a good time here,
we
folks.
We do. Also, Flash kind of does a double cross thing. He doesn't take them to the House of Mystery. He takes them to the House of Secret.
Yeah.
Which is the other house. So now each team has a base.
Which works super well for the team.
It does.
It actually was very reminiscent of Secret Wars in Marvel. Whenever the villains were on this side of this planet with a big old desert and weird desert storms, and all the good guys were over here in this base, and then eventually there was a third base, but we're not going to get to that in this one. That's not matter. I guess the third base is hell, but that's not a good base. You don't want to be at that base.
Yeah, so when you run into bases, don't stop there.
Yeah.
Try to go to fourth, all right?
It's like... Fourth base, brother? That's home plate. No, what?
No, go to fourth, all right? Don't go home. Home is fucked up. Go to fourth.
In your defense, I'm imagining now. Bear with me.
Mm-hmm.
So in golf, there's only 18 holes, but it's commonplace to name a bar the 19th hole. So I'm imagining you made a bar for baseball players called the fourth base.
Yep, there we go. Yep. I know sports. Who said I don't? I sports all the time. Guys, the only sports I watch are combat sports. That's honest to God truth.
Yeah.
But no, so the next chapter is called Chapter 12, Maelstrom.
Yep.
Which is also aptly named. So Team Superman, who is in the House of Secrets, and have Team Batman, House of Mysteries. Batman confronts Constantine about having thought of everything. I have that written in quotation marks, because Dick Grayson comes up with like a plan that we all know won't work, but Constantine especially knows it won't work because he's already thought of it. You know, Batman is slowly picking up the breadcrumbs that maybe Constantine is leading them down a path that of his own choosing.
Right.
We get Dr. Fate, who suggests banishing them to the void, and he goes, I can do it on my own, but with the magic lightning of Shazam, I can channel that and use that power as a conduit to send Trigon and Mr. M to the void. Right. I can't kill them, but I can get them out of here.
I enjoy these stories, and there's numerous ones, not just this one, where they can take different elements that are skill sets or attributes or magical properties, whatever have you, fill in the blank, of a certain hero, and use them in this strange amalgam, very well written storyboard, mentality with another hero and their attributes, skill set, etc., whatever have you. So in this case, Dr. Fate and his, mastery over lightning, as he puts it, his convenient skill set there with Billy Batson and Shazam's, I have power and I can use lightning myself. I love it whenever stories do little cool mixes like this,
Oh, yeah.
It's cool. It's also a great technique used in writing, to help really develop some stronger character relations, but also develop the actual characters themselves more, depending on what you're doing with the story plot. It's pretty dope, dude. Yeah. In this case, it's used very well as this makeshift, desperate, last-minute ditch effort to attempt to outmaneuver and survive these two gods fighting. Yeah.
And yeah, you're absolutely right, man, because it takes creative writing to do that.
It does. Yeah. It also takes knowing your characters and knowing their skill sets and their extensive skill sets and what they're willing to do. You
Right.
know, yeah,
Yeah,
that's a lot.
yeah, it is. That is a lot, and maybe
That's
kinda,
like knowing an actual person.
Yeah, like, I mean, because like how easy would it be to just fall back on? We're gonna use Dr. Fate as the Deus Ex Machina. He can,
Of course, he has magic.
Yeah.
Because magic.
Right.
And we have Superman on the other team. Enough said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. One thing I've really enjoyed about this whole story here, a comment for later, but definitely saying it now. One thing I've enjoyed about this is that we explore each character, as much as needed for the story. But what's needed for the story are both strengths and weaknesses. We see flaws and great attributes flaunted and even, showed off to us here. We see Superman's weaknesses constantly here. He's not just a demigod on Earth attempting to be immortal who's really a dictator. Or we don't see Batman just constantly outsmarting the whole room and doing his own thing. We see both sides of every character that becomes pertinent to the story, and that's important in quality writing,
It is. And
as far as what I like in my quality writing, yeah.
Same here, and like for Brian and Tom, like how good of writers are they to handle so many characters at one time, and then to do them all justice.
Yeah. I mean, Game of Thrones didn't even do that.
Well, damn it, Kevin, they did up until a point.
They cascaded and fell off the cliffside, brother. They climbed the edge so well, and we all said, "What are they going to do now? What's going to happen? Oh, they're falling down. They splat."
And boy, did they.
Hey, we have a Game of Thrones episode on Patreon.
That we do, guys. It's damn entertaining. Trust us on that. So that is the plan that they go with, and Deadwing, Dick Grayson, he also goes over to...
You love that nickname, don't you?
I damn sure do. Fucking proud of it.
Dope.
Deadwing, he goes over to the House of Secrets where Teen Superman is to inform them on the plan. And while he's there, he also tells Damian that, hey, it's okay. So he also kind of has that little...
Because remember, Damian's the one who accidentally killed him.
Yeah.
Awkward.
Right? Like, what do you say to the person who you...
Oh, you're a ghost and I killed you.
Yeah.
You're an ethereal form because I murdered your physical form.
If I ever accidentally murdered you...
Why did you say this? I don't like where this is going already.
And like,
no.
Like, your ghost... And if I see your ghost come back, I'm like,
okay,
this motherfucker should have killed me.
So I'm here to haunt your ass.
So,
yeah.
And if that ever does happen, I've been working on contingencies to preemptively come up with like a Ghostbuster style backpack. So if I ever accidentally kill you, I'm like,
okay.
I'm good because I have the Ghostbusters backpack.
Well, now I need to know. I was already working on plans of haunting you, like all the different things I do to torture you because I know you. But now I'm going to think of contingencies against your contingencies, motherfucker. That's what's going to happen.
Well, I've gathered 6 of the 7 Dragon Balls. I'm ready to do.
Then wish my ass back. What are we talking about? What are these? Earth and Namekian don't matter. I haven't died yet. Besides, are they ladder dispensation Dragon Balls? Because then you get 2 wishes.
That's true. Yeah.
And immortal revive. So bring me back. What are we even talking about?
Admittedly, I hadn't thought about that in my planning. Just the ways to get rid of you. Oh,
this is my friend. This is my...
We're friends here.
This is...
Okay. Moving on here.
Now I know I need to find the Dragon Ball.
All right. And so they do go through with the plan here. But also, Wonder Woman is going to bring Raven to Trigon. And everybody's like, that's kind of a bad idea. Like, you think that Trigon... Like, there is no good scenario from doing this.
No. Because Trigon came essentially because of the falsified rumors that John Constantine had friends spread around hell saying, hey, did you hear the latest news, brother? Hey, guess what? Don't tell nobody, but Superman totally kidnapped Trigon's daughter. Yeah, Raven, the hot one.
Yeah, I was going to say the hot one.
Get out of my brain.
Oh,
don't front, we're all into that.
Come on. But yeah, I mean, that's essentially what he had them do. And that's just... But no, so Wonder Woman, she's going to bring Raven to Trigon, and Raven at this point is still unconscious. And it's funny because Constantine even says something to the effect of, so Dr. Fate, like, he's sure that all the magic is being ran out from here, and Batman's like, well, yeah, that's what he said. I believe him. But you're the mage. Why do you ask? And Constantine's like, oh, no reason. And as Raven begins to wake up, because the spell he put on Raven now has no effect because all the magic is being essentially sucked out.
Yep.
So Raven is awakening, and at this point also Billy and Shazam are going to perform, I guess, the act that will send Trigon and Mr. M to the void.
Exactly. The summoning and redirecting of magical lightning. Essentially. Yes. For the purpose of get us out.
And so that they successfully do that, they're able to banish Trigon and Mr. M right as Raven awakens.
Yep.
But also they realize that in doing so, Dr. Fate is also gone, and they don't know where he is. So that's definitely unfortunate. He's been a mainstay for Team Batman, you know.
He really has. He was one of the biggest batteries in Batman's plan. Yeah. You know, it's dangerous to have him out of the picture. You know.
Yeah.
It neutralizes the playing field a little bit more and kind of grounds it again. But I would have rather have him on my team still. You know.
Right.
Yeah, I might need you because this goes on for a 4th and 5th year, brother.
Right.
Yeah.
And especially since, like, if you know, Spectre is out of the picture now, then like, people probably won't be able to get to you in the Tower of Fate, you know? So that would have been a great home base. Even if they know that you're there, they can't get to you.
Right, yeah.
But now, no. Not going to happen.
So essentially, he's out of the story.
He is.
For all intents and purposes, he's practically dead because they're in the void.
That's true. Damn.
That's 3 names.
Yeah. And they are very careful with their wordings. Maybe those 3 need asterisks by them.
Oh, the monkey. He actually died now.
Yep, Detective Chimp.
So I forgot about that.
Yep. He's now dead.
Okay.
And at this point, Zatanna, she transports Team Batman to a hidden base that Batman had, which is 200 meters underneath Alaska's lead mines, which is, you know, pretty good spot.
Yeah.
And Batman then confronts John about his schemes at the very end of the book.
Because, of course, Batman was able to piece it together eventually. And then John jokes around, well, you know, Detective Chimp figured it out forever ago. I'm glad you finally caught up.
Yeah.
Jerk.
Right.
Yeah.
And, you know, Constantine, he admits, like, yeah, you know, I did it all to protect my daughter, you know. I'll double-cross every demon and whoever.
So let's translate this, homies, for those of you out there who are kind of confused at John Constantine and what he's doing here. Remember at the very beginning of this year, John Constantine had a certain pretty important meeting with Trigon, where Trigon was like, oh, look, remember, bitch, I own a piece of your soul. I'm going to enjoy torturing you. Well, now, how is Trigon able to do said torture if he's out of the picture, living in the void, and can't come back? For all intents and, you know, he's practically dead, which means there's nothing he could do against John Constantine, which means this clever son of a bitch, once again, did a workaround and found a way to win and come up on top again.
Yeah.
Which, you know, he's a master of doing. He's a master of kind of conniving the field in that way. And he goes away scot-free, undamaged, unhindered. He's protecting Rose. He's protecting Rose's mother. And
her mother's dead.
Oh, well, in the picture... Yeah, good point. Yeah. Wait, maybe? Nah, never mind. It's just him and his daughter. You're right. Get out. But don't. Just stay there.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was a brilliant, clever, backstabbing plan.
It really was.
You know, early on, Constantine told Batman, "I'm giving you this one opportunity to walk away." You know, essentially saying that I'm going to let you down. Like, what you want from me.
I'm not a trustworthy person.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he knew Batman would still go for it, and Batman went for it. And at the end of the game here, Batman's upset he went for it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I think Batman understands too.
Right.
However, how clever of a son of a bitch do you have to be to rework an entire war with, demigods and godlike people and superpowered beings, and use them all for your ultimate purpose of getting yourself debt free, freeing every piece of your soul, which, okay, that works somehow, and getting you and your loved one, the only one you really care about, truly, out of harm's way for essentially forever, for the rest of this book at least.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like, just to give you guys an idea of just how conniving Constantine is, like, you see a shot of him at one point where he's shirtless, and you see all the tattoos and symbols on his body. Those are all like little totems or like
magical tattoos. Yeah.
To keep himself safe from all the bullshit that he's amounted on himself over the years.
Yeah.
To keep himself safe from like possession, magical wars to keep demons and creatures away. Like he's got all these things on him because he knows that if he doesn't have a magical relic of some sort with him for various different things, his ass is grass.
Actually, that reminds me. In one of these stories,
the first epilogue, yes.
Yeah, the first epilogue. There's two actually. We'll talk about them here shortly.
Yes.
In one of them, they kind of give us a prequel, a little bit, kind of going back before year 3, talking about how John Constantine kind of began setting all this up. How he's even like pickpocketing a certain relic of like, oh look, this is kind of a warding thing here, a magical like resistance type amulet. Yeah, I'll wear this. It's like he looted the dungeon. He's like, oh yeah, look at that amulet of health. Yeah, I'll wear that.
Yeah, he took all the loot for himself.
Exactly. Clever bitch.
Yeah, and
Don't
I think
be that
I think it's Dr. Occult and Rose Psychic who we get here, and they actually share the same. They don't technically share the same body. They share the same space and time.
Yeah, I was gonna word it like the same existence.
Yeah. And essentially, like Occult, he was created forever ago. He's created by the same people that made Superman, I think. Jerry Schuster and Joe Siegel.
Cool.
So he like 1935. Like he was created forever ago.
Yeah.
But he's technically like the first real magic user for what would much later on become known as DC Comics.
Interesting.
Yeah, he was also like a magic detective. So like even before Constantine,
I mean, he's dressed the part. Yeah. I would buy that every day of the week. Yeah, he's dressed in the classic, trench coat, fedora hat. He looks like the thing Harvey tried to dress up as. If Harvey was in better shape.
Yeah. Poor Harvey.
Yeah. But yeah, they're all standing together in the first epilogue in what looks like a library of like the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, DC's version, and
But before that, though, we have Batman talking with Rose Psychic, saying that, hey, I need you and Occult to obviously work together and find a way to seal Raven, because I have some plans I need to put in motion, and I can't do that unless Raven is safely put away.
And I was grateful for this section of the book, actually. One, because it extends the book to make it a little longer. And two, at the end of year 1, we see Raven in the lineup amongst the trusted heroes of Superman's regime, saying, "Hey, we're Team Soup. We're gonna, we're going to police the world." But then in year 2, she's gone. We don't see her. We don't know what happened. Year 3, we see that she's captured. So this actually is a great explanation as to, hey, Raven went missing.
Right.
Yeah. So.
And you're right, because like I can see a lot of people being disappointed if they didn't have this excerpt in here. Like, Raven's really powerful. How do you just say that she's captured and put away?
Because reasons.
Yeah.
Luckily, this book doesn't do that, which is one of the greatest faults of writing out there. Like, oh, this happens because I need it to.
Exactly.
Go back to the story.
Don't worry about how it happened.
Work on it again. Yeah. Come on.
Don't worry about how it happened. It happened. So let's move on.
There's very few cases where you're going to get away with that.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially with us.
Hell yeah. We're out there.
Hell yeah. But just to make this quick, what we see is Rose and Detective Occult, how they go and they make trades and deals, and they go globetrotting to get artifacts and trades to essentially do what they need to do to put Raven down. But in the process, Raven does kill Occult. He is killed. And unfortunately for Rose, that means if he's dead, that she will soon die too.
They can't exist without one another because they share the same existence. Mm-hmm. So she's kind of teetering on life's edge here for about an hour or so. And of course, who's there to help pick up the pieces? Not Batman, John Constantine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Constantine, like he knows how to play people so well, and even here he's like, "Ooh, a coach dead. That's not going to be good for you." It's like, I tell you what, I'll see what I can do to help you out, but you're gonna have to be the one to go to Themyscira to put Wonder Woman to sleep. I can't do it myself. No men allowed. So it's gonna have to be you. And in the meantime, I'll see what I can do. And she does. She does successfully go to Themyscira, and Rose is able to put Wonder Woman in that slumber. But when she comes
sleep
back,
dust.
Yeah, that sleep dust. Pocket sand.
It's exactly like that too. She just sticks in her pocket. Pocket sand.
Go to sleep, bitch. But when she does so, Rose Psychic goes back to like her home base, and Constantine is there, and he's like, there's no saving you, right? Like, there's nothing I can do. Like, you're done for. But so he essentially double crosses her, and the last thing that Rose is able to do is to get a faint message out to Batman saying, the mission has been completed, but don't trust. And she's not really able to get Constantine out of her mouth, and Batman's like, don't trust who should not trust. And
super clever. The one thing that could have messed up John Constantine's plan, but all she gets out is don't trust, and then she dies. What are you supposed to make of that? She could have been coughing.
Exactly.
Yeah. So super clever, and then that's when John Constantine. So the only question I had here, and I won't stew on this because we gotta finish some stuff here.
Right.
How did he know that Batman employed them? Because Batman was on like a dock out in the rainy somewhere middle of nowhere, and he was having the conversation with both of these magical entities, saying, "Hey, I need you to do this, and I need you to take Raven and Wonder Woman out of the picture. They're going to be chess pieces we don't need on the board." And somehow, some way, John Constantine knew that was happening. I mean, I'll take it if John Constantine just had his magical tendrils into the magical world of things. How like news spreads, like, oh hey, they're on a job. You can't talk to them right now. They're working for bats, so don't try to find them. And John Constantine does so anyway. I don't know, something like that. Yeah, like a social life, how the news gets around of some sort.
Yeah, that's a good question, and I don't really have an answer for it.
It's the only plot hole I could think of in the story that keeps it from being 100% solid, but it 100% doesn't matter.
Yeah, I guess also in terms of the epilogue, like,
sure,
what Constantine was getting at, it didn't really involve Batman that much, right? Not from his standpoint. Constantine was just trying to put in the field to get his,
to get more things to help defend himself.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't really think he was concerned so much. Surely he didn't want anyone finding out